I told you that I would try to do a little video of what I do so that you get an idea and get some tips. So let's get started. So what I do is I just get a bowl of warm soapy water and I just soak my fingers in there for a few minutes usually. I'll probably shorten it a little bit to just about, 30 seconds or so, just to soften them up, because I've been taking old things off anyway and been washing them a lot, so they're soft anyway. So like I said in some of my posts, that I like to give myself the salon experience. So they always start by having you soak your fingers and toes in warm water and get them softened up and get those cuticles softened and easier to work with. So I also like to just start there with that. And then my nails are nice and clean and ready to be worked on. Now, a product that I just recently, let me just set this over here really quick, purchased was the cuticle remover pen. I just got it in the mail today, so I haven't tried it yet, but what I noticed was even after I push back my cuticles and with my little cuticle pusher, and I use my cuticle nippers, and let me show you what I'm doing here. So I'm just pushing back my cuticles. What I was finding is that there's still a little invisible cuticle on the nail bed, and when you have that invisible cuticle, it makes the adhesive, it makes it harder for the adhesive to adhere to your nails. And so I just recently went to my first Jamberry summit, which is like a conference, and they recommended the pen for those pesky little invisible cuticles that that adhere to your nail bed. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just 1 second. Almost done. So the invisible cuticles, like I have one, let me see, like right here you can see that there's still, let me see, where's the, still just a little bit of cuticle there on the nail that I know if I try to put the wrap on, it's not gonna adhere as well. So I have my little instructions here for this because I have not used it before. And it just says, apply generously over cuticles and let sit for 2 to 3 minutes. Gently push back cuticles with an orange stick and thoroughly rinse hands with warm soapy water. So let's just try that. So it's just like a little brush, and I think you just click it to have the, oh, there we go. Okay, so you just brush it on around those cuticles, it looks like. And you just, whoo, there's a lot on that one. So this is the very first time, so there's always a learning curve. A little bit more. That one needs a lot of work, it looks like. So what I learned at the summit, the conference I went to last week, is that, or I guess it was on Monday, is that the prep time should be almost as long as really putting the wraps on. If you're having trouble with wraps coming off or not adhering, chances are you probably need to spend a little more time on prep work, which like I said, takes a little more time, but then you're going to have your jams last longer. So I'm just going to pause for just a minute while I let this sit, and then I'll come back. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes. So I've let those set. And now, like it said, just take your cuticle pusher, push them back. Get those, oops, sorry, let me scoot back. Get those cuticles out of the way because they are your skin and they're not going to help you. Because if the wrap touches your skin, the oils in your skin just break it down more quickly, and that's why they don't last as long. So far, this cuticle remover pin's pretty cool. It helps get those pesky little invisible ones off. Okay, so I got those cuticles pushed back and we're ready to go. So, and you can use cuticle nippers as well if you have some extra long ones like this one. Also, what I like to do is I like to just, there's a little bit of an invisible one, I just like to file it down. It's always a little harder to do your left hand. It's, you know, for, well, or whichever hand's not your dominant hand. Mine's my right hand. I'm working with my left hand. So anyway, so my nails are pretty much prepped and ready for the jams now. So the next step is to buff. You want to buff that shine off your nails. And just a light little buff. Make sure you just get all that shine off. Then you want to clean. So I just use rubbing alcohol and a cotton swab or cotton ball, and that's how I clean them. Jamberry does have some nail prep wipes that come with the TruShine kit, which are pretty much the same thing. I've heard that Walmart also carries little rubbing alcohol wipes in a package, so you can pick those up anywhere, but I just use this big old thing from Costco and a little cotton ball, and it works just fine. So now my nails are prepped, and it's time to get out my mini heater and get started. So I'm just gonna pause for 1 second and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I have my mini heater. I have always used the mini heater. I haven't used a blow dryer. I just thought it was worth the $19 investment when I first started. I like that it's hands-free, it's quiet, and it's made for this, so it's great. So the things you'll need for the jam part are a nail file, an orange stick, or these little Jamberry cuticle pushers. Trying to think. Nail clippers are good, and nail scissors are good. So I'm going to do this fun clowning around wrap, and I know some people were concerned with sizing. So what I do is I just cut it in half, and then I just cut them separately into little strips, because for some reason, even after several times, I mean many times of doing this now, I have not memorized which wraps go with which finger. I should probably pay closer attention the next time I do it. But anyway, so I just cut them into individuals because the clear backing makes it easy. You can then size it to see if, you know, that's going to be good. And I believe this is the size I like for my thumbs. Let me just double check. It is, but then since I'm going to alternate, I want to make sure I start with I want to alternate polka dots and stripes, so I'm just going to get it all planned out first. So if my thumb's the polka dots and I want to have stripes for my pointer finger, and this one might be a little bit big, so they alternate on the other side, so sometimes you may have to work with both sides of your whole sheet if you have an alternating pattern, which I do, so because I need this size for my pointer finger, so I'm going to get that in the stripe, and then I need my middle finger, which that one's a little big, and I've set it on the post so far, and it is true. You want the wrap to be slightly smaller than your nail, because if it's too big, it's actually going to cause you more problems than help you. So I think maybe I have to go to this other side again. This one's a good one for my middle finger. I'm going to skip my ring finger because I'm also going to do a little tutorial on TruShine as an accent nail there. So then I just need a stripe, a little tiny stripe. That one's too big, so I'm going to go over here, get this one from over here. So yeah, that's just the perfect way to size them, in my opinion. And then I just put all the ones that I'm not going to use over here. And so now I'm all set for that. So I turn my mini heater on, give it a little time to heat up and get going. One thing I've noticed with my own personal nails is my thumb's a little flatter on the base side and not as round as the Jamberry. So what I do is I cut that a little bit, just with regular scissors. So it's very important to not touch the back of the wrap if you can avoid it, because it breaks down the adhesive. So what I do is I just take an orange stick and I use it to pry it off the back. So I have not touched the back, and I pull mine up halfway. Now, once you get better, you could probably leave a little in the middle and use those as accent nails later on. I tend to just use the whole wrap for my two fingers, so one half for one side, one half for the other side, because then I can touch the back on the part that's not actually going to go on my nail. So I'll explain what that means. So I've pulled it back without touching it about halfway on my orange stick, and then I just let me just reposition this. I just cut it down the middle, and if you lose it, you just put it back on there. So now I've cut it in half, so I'll save this half for the other side. Now, when I said I could touch it a little bit, I just touch on the very corner that I know I'm going to file off later. That's not going to be touching my nail. And so like I said, have to kind of flatten out. Just on my thumbs, I have flatter thumbs, so I kind of flatten that out. Then I just barely touch just the edge that I'll file off anyway. And I just stick it right there on my nail. And I do it cold because if there's any repositioning I have to do, it's much less damaging to my nail if I have not heated it yet. So I just do kind of like my own little stick on there to start. And so like I said, I only touch this part that I know I'm going to file off anyway. And it makes it easier to hold it and all that. So then I just heat for about 5 to 10 seconds. Till I can see that it's starting to curl. And then I just push it down with my finger. Oops, sorry. Push it down with my finger. And I pull so that it stretches over kind of the edge of my nail there. And I make sure it's all down. And if I have any like little wrinkles or anything, I try to get those out. I have kind of a little wrinkle there, so I'm going to heat it. And take a little pusher and push down by my cuticle. Get those little wrinkles out. And then just, I kind of pull it so it's kind of over the edge of my nail there. And then it's good. And then I just let it cool for a minute. And so sometimes I'll go on to the next one while I'm waiting for it to cool, or I just wait. It doesn't take long, so just wait till it's not very hot. And then you just want to go down at 90 degrees. So you just gently file at 90 degrees right on the edge. And then that extra part just pops off. And then I just kind of, round it and finish it. And then, this is something else I learned at the summit, at the conference. If you go like this on your shirt and it like snags on your shirt, then you got a little bit of filing to do. So sometimes I just file like right under the nail, right on that tip, just to get that nice and smooth. And when it's nice and smooth, you can heat it one more time just for good measure for another 5-ish seconds. And then just either with your finger or with your pusher. And then you're all set. So I'm gonna work on the rest of my fingers, and then I'll do the TruShine part. All right, thanks. Okay, one quick tip I wanted to share is if you have a lot of extra, because I cut it down the middle, then before I file, I take just clippers and I clip it down so it's not quite so long before I file. So take that piece off, and then probably even another piece, because once you get to the filing part, you don't want to have so much overhang, just a little overhang. So I just wanted to put that little tidbit in there. Okay, so I am back. I have my wraps on, and now I'm going to do my accent TruShine nail, as well as put the TruShine over my wraps just to make them last longer. I like to do that. So here's how you go about doing that. The TruShine system is a layering system. So there's a base coat, and then a color coat if you're putting color on, and then a top coat. So I learned some helpful tips at the summit on Monday. So if you're working with a color, you want to turn it over upside down until you're ready to use it. I have my curing lamp here, and I have my leftover wraps that I cut off and filed out. And so all you're going to do is you're going to take the base coat, and they say don't shake it, just roll it. And then, sorry, it's a little sticky. Let me wipe my fingers off here. And then you want to buff before you do the TruShine, the gel, just like before you do the wraps. So you just take the base coat and put it over your wraps if you're putting it over the wraps. And put it on your bare nail. Now, something they said was very important at the summit was capping your nail. So going around that edge and getting that edge capped off. If you don't do that with each of your TruShine layers, then you have a chance of it chipping and peeling. Then I just take an orange stick if I got any, on my nail part. I want to get that off. So I have my base coat just on my 4 fingers. I turn the light on, let it cure, and the light is so nice to be set on a timer already, so it stays on for 45 seconds. So this first time I'll leave it on the whole time, and then the next few times I'll stop the video and come back, just so you're not sitting there for 45 seconds. But you can just see how cool this little lamp is. It just turns right off, and then you move on to the next layer, which is really pretty cool. Okay, so like I said, now we're moving on to color for my accent nail. They said turn it upside down so all the color can come to the top. Then they said roll it, don't shake it. And then they said do the tornado effect, so kind of where you tornado it on your way out. And then I'm just applying a thin layer. Thin layers are very important. It is a glittery gel as well, so that sometimes can be a little more challenging. So I just kind of work it so that the gel is covering as evenly as I can get it. If I have any that got on my skin, I want to take an orange stick and get that off. You don't want it on your skin. That will cause it, just like the wraps, to come off more easily. Now I went a little crazy here, so I'm going to try and even it out with my orange stick. Sometimes the glitters can be a little more challenging than the solids, and so it's just important to clean it up before you cure it, because after you cure it, it's on there, so it's much harder to try it. Well, you can't manipulate it once you cure it, so it's best to clean it up before. So now I think it's mostly cleaned up around the edges, and I'm just going to cap the end. Make sure I get a good seal on there. And then I'm going to cure, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so that first layer cured, and then they say to do at least one more layer of the color. So, going to do that. Gonna cap it. Make sure it's covered on the tip there. Clear off any extra that I don't want on my cuticles or skin. That stick's getting a little yucky, so let me move to a new one. Okay, and I think I just need a little more cap on this one side. And okay. Alright, so I'm going to cure one more time. Okay, so now I would say my color is as good as I want it. It's called Sweet 16. It's a pretty purple. So now I'm going to do the top coat over the wraps. Which the wraps only had the base coat before. I'm going to put it over the TruShine gel, the Sweet 16, and over the wrap again. And then just want to cap those edges, very important. And do one more quick brush over the top. Go under with my orange stick, make sure I get any that's on my skin off, because if you cure it on your skin, then it feels weird and you have to like file it down. So I've done that. Alright, so I'm going to cure. Okay, so I finished curing these 4 fingers, so these ones are all done. So I'm going to do the same thing with these 4 fingers. Base coat, base coat, base coat, base coat. Leave, leave, color, leave, 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 color, leave. Top coat, top coat, top coat, top coat. And cure in between all those. And then I'll be back. Okay, so I've done everything for my fingers, so now I'm going to do my thumbs. And since they have the wraps on them, I'm just going to do the base coat. And I'm going to cap those ends. And do my other thumb. I got a little crazy with this thumb, so just want to get that off my skin. Very important. Okay, so then put them under the light. Okay, and then I just do the top coat. And cap those ends. And top coat. Cap those ends. And just do one final cleanup. Okay, this one's pretty good. And put them under the light one more time. And we're almost done. So thanks for hanging in there with me. I know it's a little bit long, but I wanted to show you kind of all the steps, kind of the tricks I use, the stretch and pull, the cold application. I do touch the back of the wrap, but as long as it's on the part of the wrap that I know I'm going to be cutting or filing off, because I don't want to, touch the back on the part that's going to go on my finger, or they're more likely to fall off. So yeah, I hope you have learned a lot from this video. Now, the one thing that people with the TruShine notice is they'll say, oh, it didn't cure, it's sticky still. That is normal. So then what you do is you just take some alcohol, some rubbing alcohol, and a cotton ball, and you just want to wipe off that tacky layer when you're finished with the gel. And then it's not sticky anymore. It is all good. And then you have a beautiful, complete salon quality manicure. Then the only last thing I do is I like to take my Jamberry nail oil and just put that around my cuticles and rub that into my nails and make them nice and healthy. And then I like to wash my hands and dry them and put lotion on, and then you're all set. So once again, I hope you learned a lot, and thanks for joining this party. Have a great night.